Welcome to Scoop World Order. We are live and we are over 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. As always, we're going to get into some big nuggets that we have on the site. Training camp is 2 weeks away from opening up. There's a lot of buzz. There's tickets to the first 2 days. We're not going to be in pads, but it'll be good stuff to watch. Are you excited about that? Or did you buy tickets? Chime in below in the comments, but we're going to get into that real quick. But as always, we're very thankful and grateful for you guys. 20,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel, two-man group. Appreciate you guys. As always, send this out to your friends, your family, all the biggest Buckeye fans in the world. Again, we appreciate you guys so much. We've been grinding along. Shout out where you're from. I want to hear you guys where you guys are watching from live. I want to see where you're taping and watching the tapes from. Let me see it. I want to see it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, leave us a like. Please click subscribe. You guys have been doing that like crazy, so thank you so much. Click that little alert bell. With the alert bell, again, you'll know when we go live, so you guys can interact with us. So we appreciate you guys. This is a big celebration today. We're going to break some big news, as always, because this is what we do on the Scoop. That being said, I'm going to bring in my friend. What's up, Sue? What's up, Mello? We got the regulars in here today. And I have my number one regular, Mr. Nevadabuck. Nevada, how are you tonight?
I mean, come on, 20,000 subscribers. It's what an amazing accomplishment. And we're going to talk about Carnell Tate. We're going to talk about Donnie Jackson. We're going to talk about Chip. We're going to talk about Kingston. We're going to talk about Josh Fryer. We're going to talk
Oppenheimer.
We're going to talk about Carnell Tate. We're going to talk about all that. But the big star today is the subscribers, because 20,000. You guys just have to understand what an accomplishment that we started out doing. Like rebroadcasts of old video game football rebroadcasts.
Yes, we did.
And this was during COVID, when there was no football, there was no hope of being football. Everything was down and to think that we've gone from that to 20,000 subscribers is truly it's humbling and it's amazing. And we hope you guys keep coming here to get the real scoop on Ohio State football. What we always promise you is that we'll make you a smarter fan and we'll tell you the truth. We'll give you the real stuff, because nobody else on the OSU beat can do it. You saw what happened on the Georgia beat just the other day.
Oh my
Kirby
God.
Smart had somebody. They pull their credentials. They fire them. They do all because there was a story they didn't like, and it's like that is what the OSU beat is like. That is what it's like, and OSU is vindictive. And OSU, man, if you don't toe the line and say what they want you to say, they can be really mean. And so if you want the real stuff, this is where you're going to get it, because the other places, they can't. It's not that they're bad people. They just can't give it to you, because if they do, they're done, and they know that. So, thank you for this journey to 20,000. Now obviously we've got our next goal. We're on to 50,000 subscribers, and then we're not going to be satisfied, but going to have a great show. So let's get right after it. Mr. Barton with the sunglasses on and ready to rock it. He looks kind of like Max Headroom for any of you people that are older. That's what it looks like. Barton, the AI bot, is going to be starring as Max Headroom tonight. So let's go.
A future so bright, I'm looking at a nuclear blast in Oppenheimer tonight, man. But I'm just so happy for you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I mean, it's been huge. Again, we started our site during COVID. There was no football. We were breaking down Xbox Live or Xbox simulations of Ohio State football versus whoever, just to try to make ends meet, just to try to get some traction on our YouTube channel. We used to have 20 views, 60 views, 100 views, and now we're just cranking. So we appreciate you guys so much. So future's so bright, I had to put the shades on. Nevada, let's talk a little bit about Carnell Tate. You delivered some fantastic news. That kid is going through as terrible of a tragedy as you could ever imagine, with his mother unfortunately succumbing to an unfortunate unfortunate incident. He is in the hands of the Brotherhood right now. Obviously, he went to Chicago to make arrangements. But tell me a little bit about what happened this week that was honestly shocking to me, because I lost a parent young. I was 12. Very tough, very hard thing to come back from. Talk a little bit about what Carnell is going through right now and how the Brotherhood is helping him.
Well, he's back with the team. He came right back, and I think we all know that in situations like this, when something terrible happened, and a lot of us have gone through, losing a parent or, I mean, just terrible. The list of tragedies are endless, and it's just they're every one of them is heartbreaking. But you know that when they happen, the best thing you can do is to be around those people that love you and support you and have your back, and that you can kind of get your mind off of things and get back to business, because that's the only thing that kind of gets you through from one side to the other side. And he's back with the team, and on the grind and doing his thing, and the whole team, the whole Ohio State family is just kind of rallying behind him, because this is where he wants to be. And it was just when I heard that news, I was just it was just really did my heart good to know that he's around people like that he's in a situation like that where he's got people to support him. Because you think about all the people that don't have that, all the people that don't have 100 brothers to kind of support him, and a something to get your mind off that, because better than anybody, having lost your father young, when that happens, it just dominates every thought. It's the first thing you think about when you go to bed. It's the last thing you think about before you go to bed. And it's just just a horrible situation. But Carnell back with the team, on the grind. Mick is really putting it to him, as they always. That part is, there's nothing newsworthy there, because Mick's always pushing him hard. But Carnell back with the team and doing his thing, and I thought that was great news when I heard it.
I'm telling you, today is the 26th year anniversary of my dad passing away, 97. I was 12, he was 39. So again, I feel for Carnell losing a parent young, being able to get into some semblance of normalcy, even if it's a hard conditioning run, even if it's speeding around your brothers. He wants to take care of his family. He has the opportunity to do that in 3 years. If he really does what Brian Hartline tells him to do, what Mickey Marotti tells him to do, he can be a top 10 pick. He's got that kind of ability. He's one of the nicest kids I've ever met, one of the hardest working kids I've ever met. In spring, he made a major impact. He's a guy that I projected as to be a starter over Julian Fleming, just because I think he's got more ability. And this was unfortunate, but I'm just happy that he's able to embrace the brotherhood. He's got a great supporting cast around him. Obviously, Ryan Day is going to give him as much time as he needs. And it's really sad, because we dealt with this kind of tragedy last year with Joe Royer's mom succumbing to cancer. Carnell's mom obviously succumbing to what she succumbed to. It's just like, I hope that he can find some peace. Obviously, it's very fresh, but, he's such a great kid. And again, you can't root harder for a kid than I'll root for Carnell Tate, because he was already a great kid. Him and Brandon Innes, I think, are going to do incredible things at Ohio State. They bring J.J. Smith, 3 South Florida Express receivers next year. It's going to be incredible, but I'm happy he was back with the team. He embraced the conditioning. He dove right into a 3-hour workout that was brutal, and he didn't have to do that. He could have, sat it out. I mean, everyone understood, but he wanted to dive back into it and just be around his boys and his brothers. So, again, I just hope that he leans on those guys when it gets tough, when it gets sad. I mean, he's got those moments where, that first game we runs out of the tunnel and his mom's should be there and she's not there. She'll be there in spirit. It's going to be tough. He's going to have to lean on his boys big time. In terms of some other stuff that you broke, talk a little bit about Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison, their nightly routine. This is something that was really interesting as you got that information. Not surprised at all, because I know Marvin Harrison is a notorious, worker, just an insane work ethic, a guy that, basically lives at the facility. But talk a little bit about what Kyle and Marvin have been doing this summer.
Well, I mean, Kyle and Marvin, after all the daily workouts and doing all the things, have been doing the McCord Harrison nightly workout, and every single night going out there and doing extra work late at night and dragging along other skill position guys with them, and really McCord kind of assuming that leadership position on the team, putting in the extra work, developing that extra chemistry that you already have with the best wide receiver in college football, and Marvin Harrison. And really said something to me, because we all know that this quarterback derby is going to be a heck of a battle. Devin Brown's going to be in it to win it. Lincoln Keenel's obviously is a guy who's kind of a dark horse candidate, but a guy with super athletic ability and a lot of upside and a lot of confidence, a lot of swagger. But McCord has been showing a leadership role during the summer, and I think those are the little things that you're looking for when you're looking for a quarterback to take over that spot, to become that alpha, lead the team. And I think Ohio State's kind of lacked that as of late. That veteran leadership. He's been around the program for a while, and for him to be showing the leadership here over the summer, I think it bodes really well for him into the fall, and it goes beyond just the connection with Marvin. I think it sends a message to the team that the amount of work that you have to do for Ohio State, which is already insane. To him, it's not enough. He's going to go above and beyond that and do extra work, and doing it every single night. So I thought it was very significant and certainly caught my attention. And I think it's going to pay huge dividends for McCord in the fall.
Yeah, and again, like I like that our best player is a tone setter. I like that our best player likes to be the hardest worker because again, I've been a part of outfits where if you're the guy doing extra, you look like a tryhard. You look like a guy who's trying to be a teacher's pet, coach's pet, whatever you want to call it. Like, oh, you're trying to show everybody up. But like Marvin doesn't care. Marvin wants to be a top 5 pick. He'll be a top 5 pick because of his work ethic. It's insane. He's there every night. There's nothing more important than being great to Marvin Harrison. So things like Call of Duty and going out and kicking it don't matter to him. He's trying to grind. Again, it's never been easier to be great than it is right now at Ohio State because you've got the Monarch machine. The Monarch machine, if you guys don't know what it is, Google it. It's a jugs machine. Basically can throw you any pass pattern you want. It's basically like a robot quarterback. So he's been running routes. I mean, he actually got an endorsement deal with Monarch because he's put up a bunch of videos of him running and catching balls. I mean, you could put in an entire script of pass plays and run the route, a 10-yard out, a 2-yard hitch, a 10-yard hitch, a 2-yard in route, drag route, and you type it into the Monarch and it'll throw the exact ball that you need. So again, when working hard and grinding is cool and the leaders and the top dogs and the top 5 picks are doing it, it raises, it's like the high tide raises all boats. Because I mean, Marvin is the guy. He's the one everyone looks to. He's the biggest star in college football this year, and he works harder than anybody. And when he really doesn't have to, he could. There's people say, "Oh, take the year off, take it easy, don't hurt yourself, don't hurt yourself." Marvin doesn't believe in any of that. He's out there grinding on the turf, getting in better shape, getting bigger, stronger, faster, and it's admirable because all of a sudden these young guys. Brandon Innes shows up. They see how hard Marvin works. I better get on that level. Carnell Tate, Bryson Rogers, these guys, they see how Marvin works, and they're like, well, that guy's already made in the shade. If Marvin tore his ACL and missed the entire year, knock on wood, never happens, he's still a top 10 pick. He's that good. But when he's still grinding like he's an undrafted guy or he's a walk-on, then it's, these guys take note. And again, that's the mark of a good team when then you have Kyle McCord showing up. Kyle McCord's throwing the ball, building chemistry. Like, I think that's all really important because, again, I've been on teams where that kind of work would be deemed a try hard and, teacher's pet and sucking up. And then you're on teams where that's like the acceptable standard is that, hey, we got done with our 8 a.m. lift. We did the team run at 3, and then we're coming back at 8 for skill work. And that's when you've got a special group. And I know the O linemen are starting to come in, D linemen are coming in. Camp opens in 2 weeks, man. There's no time to spare. There's a lot of jobs on the line. So I admire Marvin Harrison for grinding when he really doesn't have to. He could take the year off and still be a top 5 pick, but he's still grinding like he's a walk-on. We're going to talk about a linebacker commit. On the 23rd, Kingston Viliamu-Asa is going to be committing. It's a guy that we have watched this film a million times. We are going to tune that in right now so you guys can check it out. He, big time linebacker. I know that Jim Knowles loves him. James Laurinaitis loves him. This is a kid that I think we need to get. He's a big thumper. He's not really the traditional spread type linebacker, but here the athleticism is very evident. He gets a pick 6 here, or it might be the next play. He gets a pick 6. But what do you think of this kid, Nevada? Are we getting him? What does Ohio State? Here's the pick 6. What does Ohio State think at this point?
Well, Ohio State thinks they're getting him. Now, I don't have that from the kid. I don't have that from anybody close to the kid. But from Ohio State's standpoint, they believe that they're getting him. And that's supposed to happen this week. And, that it would be a great get. I think, some people are trying to look at him and poke holes and say, kind of a little bit of a tweener, what position is he going to play? But, well, he's a football player. I mean, he is playing at the highest level of football and dominating. And, I know people on the West Coast, love him and hope that he stays out on the West Coast. But Ohio State thinks they've got him. I think James Laurinaitis has been an impact. I think the story for Ohio State right now is getting Laurinaitis more involved in the recruiting, a la the way that they did with Brian Hartline early on in his tenure, and it's already paying dividends. Laurinaitis is just a superior recruiter. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but they've got to get him to be part of the town. They've got to get him to be out there on the road so that he can recruit, because it's what he can do. I mean, he understands the culture of Ohio State as well or better than anybody on the staff. His credentials at the college level are, second to none. His credentials at the pro level are absolutely, superior as well. So, what better calling card could you ask for Ohio State football than a guy like James Laurinaitis, and specifically a linebacker? And he thinks he's got Kingston, so I'm rolling with that.
Yeah, I love him. He's explosive. He's tough. You don't worry about the way he's 6'3", 230, but I think he'll say it that in spread football, modern football, 230 is about what you need your guys to be at so they can run. He's already kind of prepackaged, built to play as a freshman, be a guy on special teams. So I'm just super excited about everything he can do. Again, when the people inside the Woody Hayes really like the guy, that's good enough for me. I can evaluate a linebacker. I can see how he runs, how he flows to the ball, his explosion. So I'm super excited about it. Like I said, I think he's going to be a huge add to this. I mean, this could be the best class in Ohio State history if we get a couple more guys, man. I mean, we get Let's Go Brandon Baker, we get KJ Bolden, man. It's game over. But these guys they got to keep fighting for these guys. It's going to be a tough one. This is USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State. It looks like Ohio State's in the lead. A lot of people projected them, but I know James. I know in his heart when he really wants a guy and likes a guy, he'll be a great get. So again, the 23rd is coming. I think that we're gonna get this kid, and these kids, like these kids from the West Coast come to Ohio State, they never regret it. I'm telling you, like especially when you got James coaching you. James isn't going anywhere. He's gonna coach the crap out of you, make you a 3-and-out type guy, go first round. So I'm excited about him, and he's a great blitzer. I mean, it's funny you watch him come off the edge. He's relentless. He's tough. You can drop the head right in these guys' chins and be an impact guy. He's got great instincts. Again, you're watching the film. It's a highlight tape, but he can read, flow to the ball, go downhill, and we need those guys. And in modern football, you only play 2 linebackers generally. You run nickel defense. You have 5 DBs, two linebackers, 4 down guys, and you need guys that can run. And this kid can really run. I mean, you saw on the pick 6, man, he caught it and he was gone. Touchdown. And they play the best competition in the country. I mean, they play Mater Day. That's their big rival. Those are probably the top 2 schools in the entire country. And they saw him in the regular season. They saw him in the state championship, beat him in the state championship. Mateo Uyangalele was his teammate. And he's just a fantastic player, man. I'm telling you, like, this is a guy that you get excited about, man. They got him at fullback. So, again, I love this because this is just a random clip they threw on the highlight. And honestly, I'd probably put this first on the highlight because you see a kid playing fullback, and I'm sure he doesn't want to play fullback. He wants to be a linebacker. He wants to be realist. Put him at fullback on this little goal line set, and he gets a pancake, and he finishes the kid. He's nasty. And, he doesn't get any statistics for this. He doesn't get a sack. He doesn't get tackle for a loss. But, they put him in at fullback because he's an explosive athlete, and he puts this guy right in the ground. So, again, like, this is something I'd have put that right at the front of the highlights. I'm like, look, you're evaluating his linebacker play, but look how selfless he is. Look how much of a team player he is. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. I know all you guys have all these funny comments on my sunglasses, but we hit 20,000 today, so we're celebrating. So I got the shades on. It's been a long haul. It's a 2-man army, basically, and we're just cranking like crazy, and it's been a blast. So appreciate you guys, as always. Nevada.
Now we're watching Bosco Mater Day highlights. Who was the first Ohio State player from either one of those high schools to play at Ohio State?
Oh God, was it like Kenyon Rambo or something like that? It's probably before my time.
It was Nicky Sualua.
Really? No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we didn't have anybody for the mid-90s. Really?
No, Nicky Sualua. I mean, Kenyon Rambo was Long Beach Poly.
Yeah, I knew he was probably Poly, where Mercedes Lewis and Snoop Dogg and Herschel Dennis and all those guys came from. Winston Justice, but
and Long Beach Poly. What is their mascot? What is the mascot of Long Beach Poly?
Oh God, this is gonna kill me. I want to say it's like the Raiders, but it's not. What is it? Is it like the Penguins or something crazy?
The Jackrabbits. The Jackrabbits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember like the one year I came out, they had like 6 guys that were like the top 20 or whatever. And they all went to SC except for Mercedes Lewis, who's your boy Aaron Rodgers' buddy, who played 18 years in the league as a blocking tight end and a first round pick for the Jaguars. And they had like Herschel Dennis, Winston Justice, like they all went to SC except for one, and Mercedes Lewis, for whatever reason, decided to go to UCLA, their biggest rival. So, but yeah, I don't. Is Poly still a thing right now?
I mean, Poly's good. I actually watched Poly play last year. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're not Poly, but they're good.
But they're not like Bosco Matter Day type level, right? Oh, we got Nevada on the mute button. I gotta get Nevada off the mute button. There it is.
Now, Poly's just like right below those schools, right, almost there, but not quite.
Well, I mean, that's pretty strong. Well, I'm excited. So 2 weeks out from camp, Nevada. What are your big storylines of training camp as we keep grinding? Again, like in 2 weeks. I mean, it's the first practice. Fans are going to be there if you paid $30 to watch the guys run around in not full pads, no tackling. But hey, you get to be there. What are you excited about to see in 2 weeks, Nevada?
I'm excited about the offensive line. I mean, I lots of things going on with the offensive line here during the summer. Hearing Tigres moving inside. They had him repping at tackle. What I'm kind of hearing is that he's more. I mean, I've always saw him as a guard. I think Ohio State's kind of come to that realization as well that he's probably suited at guard. I'm interested in seeing that right tackle battle with Simmons because Ohio State anteed up for him. They stepped up big time on the NL standpoint to get him. And he's going to get the first look, and it's going to be a long look. But will he hold down the position? The Jacob James Carson battle at center. I think it's going to be amazing. I think Donnie is left guard all the way. I know you've been saying push him out to left tackle. I think he's a guard. I think he wants to play guard. I think they want him at guard. And who takes over the left tackle spot? What happens with Josh Pryor? What happens with Enoch? What happens with George Fitzpatrick? I mean, there's just so many combinations. I'm just so excited to see that because we've got a lot of guys on the offensive line that can play. That's the great. They're just inexperienced, and that is a great spot to be in because the upside's huge. I'm telling you, by the end of the year, we're going to be talking about some of these guys like, oh wow, this guy. Of course, we all knew he was going to be great, but let's remember now when we're fretting about these inexperienced offensive line players. They're not untalented. They just haven't had the chance to be there because they've been playing behind Thayer Munford and DeJuan Jones and Nick Petit Frere and it's just been Paris Johnson. It's just been insane. But we've got talented guys in the offensive line now. I'm just telling you, it is not. It is not for lack of talent, and some guys are going to really show out.
I agree. I mean, I think Luke Whipple is going to make the Browns. I think he's had a fantastic offseason. I was talking to someone who's with the Browns, and they really like Luke. They think he's got a bright future there. He's going to be back up this year, but he's going to be. He's not. They're not going to let him off the 53-man active roster because he get claimed on waivers because he's got a really bright future. But I agree. I think the O-line is a storyline of camp. I think that they paid. It's funny. His name's Jason Simmons. They call him Jimmy Simmons inside the Woody Hayes. So Jimmy Simmons. They paid about $300,000. So again, it's like when you pay a free agent in the NFL a bunch of money and you hand him a spot.
Now wait a second. Isn't it Josh Simmons?
It is, but they call him Jimmy for whatever reason.
No, but you just called him You just called him Jason Simmons.
No, is it? Oh, it's Josh, right? It's Josh. My bad.
Yeah,
whatever.
Jason
Josh,
Simmons,
Jimmy.
Jason used to play for Ohio State, right? Wasn't Jason Simmons a defensive end?
Maybe it's his dad. I don't know. So Josh Simmons, Josh Fryer, Josh, whoever. I mean, so Jason Simmons, Josh Simmons, Jamal Simmons, Jimmy Simmons.
Just think of it this way. Let's go, Josh Simmons. Just say, let's go, Josh Simmons.
No, I say let's go, Jimmy Simmons, because they call him Jimmy. That's what threw me off. They call him Jimmy Simmons in the Woody Hayes. So, because they already have Josh Fryer, they're like, we can only have one Josh, so we call him Jimmy. So Jimmy Simmons, our starting right tackle. Go ahead.
The Jimmys and Joshes?
Jimmy's and Josh's. So Jimmy Simmons, they paid him a bunch of money. They expected him to run the right tackle job. But I just, if I'm one of those guys in that room, if I'm Tigra, if I'm Zen, if I'm George, if I'm Luke Montgomery, I'm just not, I'm not sweating it. Like, I'm like, let's go take that job. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys. The thing that's interesting is they've got some major competition across the board. I think that there's 2 centers that could start. There's 4 or 5 guys that could start at the tackle spots. Obviously, the chalk is Josh Simmons, Josh Fryer. But I'm not convinced that Josh Fryer doesn't want to play guard. He looks way more comfortable at guard. He's got a guard body type, so Zen and George Fitzpatrick are bigger, taller guys than, I don't know. Like, I mean, how do we shuffle it around? Do we put, Enoch? Enoch's the guy. To me, it's crazy that Enoch is not a day one starter, first day camp. He's been there for 5 years. He started the Michigan game, and he's a backup. Now I know you got the quick hook, but they thought enough of him to start him against Michigan. So I don't know. Oh, here we go.
I've got a simpler solution now. It's like push Josh Fryer to right tackle where we already know he can play, and then put in, let's have George and Zen and whomever fight it out for the left tackle spot, and all the other 4 spots are set.
That was my solution, man. I'm telling you about it. You got to figure out where you want to play Josh, Jason, Jimmy, Jamarcus Simmons, who you just paid all this money to. He's got to play somewhere else. Like, he's a taller guy. He doesn't have the ability to play guard, move guys. So I don't know if you play him at left tackle, but I just imagine it's going to be Fryer at left to start, Simmons at right to start, and then we'll go from there and see how they do against Jack Sawyer and JT. Because that's the thing is, like, guys can really do well with the second huddle when they're blocking Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson. But when they bump up to that first huddle and it's 2 guys that could potentially be first round picks in Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, that's a whole different ball of wax, man. That's going from an 85 mile an hour fastball to a 98 mile an hour fastball. So D Sonny, my man, bringing a chat on our celebration episode. Kirk, if NIL was around in your day, it always said offer you $10,000 a year. How much would Michigan have to offer you to go there? That's a great question. God, I don't know.
10,001.
What is this? Price is Right, where you like write $1 and you win. You win the bid. You win the bid. I don't know.
Kirk could have been a Wolverine for $1.
Oh my God, like 10,000. I don't know what. 20, 25, 30. Again, you remember I had single moms. It's like if I could pay for her expenses and pay for a nicer apartment, I'd have done it. But, I hated Michigan. I went up there, camped there. It sucked, so I was never like into the Wolverine thing. But, they were, in the running. They were recruiting me as hard as Ohio State was. So I don't know. That is a great question, though. But, I mean, God, I don't know, what, 50 a year? If someone offers you 50 a year, I don't know how you turn that down versus 10 when you can defray the cost of living, defray the cost of your parents' travel or parent travel. Like, I don't know. That's a great question. I can't believe it. He said Kirk is a closet Wolverine. Yes, I am. I got my Jim Harbaugh, like sweat khakis on and my Jim Harbaugh pullover on every day with his little whistle and his little hat that he wears every day. He wears the same outfit. So, closet Wolverine. I love that. I don't know. That'd be a tough number. I'd assume Ohio State would either match it or tell me to go fly a kite, but it was nice beating those guys, which is what made it fun. This is funny because I don't remember this. Do you remember when Nevada was pissed that Chip took Dallin's carries versus Michigan? I don't remember that, but I mean, I don't know if I was pissed, but I was kind of surprised. Were you angry, Nevada, or were you just kind of surprised? I mean, Dallin carried us against Maryland the week before. I mean, he saved us. I mean, we'd have lost to Maryland if it wasn't for Dallin Hayden. And then all of a sudden he rides the pine for the whole game. Were you surprised by that?
I think he was surprised that he didn't see any action, but I'm a big Chip guy, so I don't see those as being wasted carries. So I might have come across that but I can tell you, I don't think I was. And Chip is that's a nice segue to a thing. Chip has been one of these stars of conditioning here over the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, he pushed up, I want to say 27 reps at 225, 26 or 27, that's good. That's like NFL running back.
Number one
really
overall in
good.
the combine good.
Yeah, it's really good. So
Yeah.
Chip is a super freak, and they are, looking around trying to find places. We are officially on the Chip for the Mitch Rossi role bandwagon, and we're just going to keep hammering that every time we're going to scream on every one of these because we know Ohio State watches these. We even put in a personal plea to Mark Pantoni on that to scribble this down and run into the offensive room and be like, "Hey, Nevada and Kirk say that Chip should play the Mitch Rossi role." Because that guy is a super freak. And if you have a guy like that in the backfield, he can catch the ball, he can run, he can block, he can do it all. And I just, you know, I just think Chip is just a tremendous asset. And I don't think we've even seen a tenth of how good he can be because he's been moved all over the field. I mean, he's been returning kicks, he's played linebacker, he's played running back, he's played fullback. I mean, they haven't settled on a spot for him. I think that fullback H-back spot's perfect for him, and let's rock and roll, see what he can do.
I mean, like I said, they've tried him at linebacker, running back, kick returner. So he's obviously doing something right. The coaches like him. He works hard. He's a freak of nature. So he's got to find a home, And again, like he's a big, bulky, tough kid. So why not put him in the Mitch Rossi role? Like Mitch Rossi, you got to remember, like the end of the game against Georgia when the national championship's online, Mitch Rossi was our tailback, And it's like, why can't that be Chip? Like they want Mitch Rossi over Chip. So Chip, much better athlete than Mitch Rossi. Mitch Rossi, the greatest kid in the world. Fantastic story. But why can't that be Chip? Why can't he be our Mitch Rossi this year? That'd be fantastic for him. So, is this Chip's last year of eligibility? I'm not sure. I think he has either one or two left. So, Sue, I'm not sure on that with the COVID and all that. So, I don't know if he's got one or two left. But, there's not much sand left in the hourglass. I know that. I mean, he's a guy who came from Arizona State. We tried him there were a lot of people at camp last year who thought he was going to be our backup linebacker ahead of Cody Simon. That didn't pan out. Moved him to running back. So I'm not sure. He might have a year or two left. But yeah. Nevada, do we have the right defensive coordinator this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, look, Knowles came into a broken situation and improved it by the following metrics. These are the metrics that I rate a defense by because there's a million advanced stats and a million things. To me, it's about yards per game, yards per play, points per game, points per possession, third down conversions. Those are the 5 metrics that matter. And in every single one of those, we improved from the previous year to this year. Now, if this year we don't improve again in at least 4 of those 5 categories or all 5 of those categories, then I'll be on the, hey, let's make a move on Knowles. I'll be the first one. But I think the defense is going to be a team strength. I think Knowles is a smart guy. We were remarkably untalented on defense last year. Remarkably untalented. Tanner McAllister was not an Ohio State caliber player. Ronnie Hickman, the second half of the year, was not an Ohio State caliber player. Jerron Cage, nice kid, not an Ohio State quality player. Teron Vincent, this is all by measure of the NFL draft. They all were draft eligible, went to the NFL draft, and didn't get drafted. So it's like, you cannot. They talk about it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and Joes or the Jimmies and Joshes. But if you don't have the players, man, there's only so much that you're going to be able to do. We didn't have a dominant pass rusher. We didn't have a Chase Young. We didn't have a Nick Bosa. We didn't have a Joey Bosa to kind of erase all things and provide instant. Our leading pass sacker last year, they have 4 sacks last year? 5 sacks, Jack Sawyer?
Something
I mean,
like
it was
that, yeah.
something like that. It was just ridiculous. So, think about what he was operating with. And, Cam Brown, so I think Ohio State does have the right coordinator. I think Ohio State defense is going to be a team strength. And if they're not, and if I'm wrong and the defense does not take another step this year, dude, I'll be the Jim Knowles is not kin to me. I'll be the first one to stand up and say we got to make a change. His defense doesn't work. Blah 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 blah. But I think a lot of the criticism he's got has been completely over the top, completely misplaced, and really put forth by some pretty stupid people. Because it's just like when you improve in those other categories, you can't change the personnel. He had the personnel that he had. He did a pretty good job. But our third down conversion went from 42% the year before to 29%. That's remarkable. That's a remarkable improvement. And we're talking about, fire Jim Knowles. That's bad take, man. bad take. So there, I'm off the soapbox.
Well, yeah, like to me, I just look at, what do they do with what they have? So, everybody thinks Jeff Hafley is the greatest defensive coordinator of all time. And then look at the talent. Okay, so you had Baron Browning, Chase Young, Damon Arnett, first round pick, Sean Wade, fantastic nickel guy, Jeff Okuda, top 3 pick at corner, Jordan Fuller, one of the most underrated players in school history. That was like the core of his team, and then all of a sudden you go to what Jim Knowles had, and he had Denzel Burke, Cam Brown, Cam Martinez, Ronnie Hickman, Tanner McAllister, like undrafted, bad year, undrafted. So, a top passer for Zach Harrison, 3rd round pick, not number 2 overall like Chase Young was. So, again, like I give them, people like to crucify him over the Michigan game when they're trying to stop the run. There isn't much time left. It's kind of like if you give up a goal and you pull the goalie, like you don't really crucify the coach. But at Ohio State, we crucify everybody, so this is what we do. But I think that, you get Jack and JT cranked up, you get Mike Hall healthy, playing good. Like, Mike Hall is projected as like the 17th pick in the first ESPN mock draft. So NFL people know who Mike Hall is. They watched his film against Notre Dame when he looked like a top 5 pick. I mean, we get that D-line rolling. Because, again, this is the year. I mean, after this year, we got 7, potentially 7 guys that are early outs or out of eligibility on defense. 7 guys in the same circumstance on offense. So it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild. So this is the year for Ryan Day, Jim Knowles to get it cranked up. So, well, Nevada, 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. Do you have anything to say to the faithful as we wrap this thing up?
Just thank you guys so much. Like I said, we appreciate it. We have a genuine ball doing these shows. Hopefully, you get stuff out of it. If you spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is on the show, and you don't leave as being a smarter fan, that we haven't done our job. We want to entertain you, but we want to give you the stuff that's going on in the program. And just want you to know we enjoy doing it. And thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
That's perfect. We're going to wrap this thing up. As always, thank you guys. I'm going to take the glasses off for a second. Future's bright, guys. I had to throw the shades on, but I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. All thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for helping us out. If you enjoyed this content, leave us a like, click subscribe, and also click that little bell so you can alert when we go live. Thank you to all the regulars who are on here every night. You guys are the best. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Sue. JVM. I see all you guys. You guys are cranking it in the chat. Thank you guys so much, as always. If you guys enjoy this content, BuckeyeScoop.com is the greatest gift you could ever give to yourself or to your best friend or to anybody that's an Ohio State fan, because our content has been insane lately, and we really appreciate you guys, and we're bringing the goods for you guys. So if you want to know what's going on in Ohio State football, BuckeyeScoop.com needs to be your new home. We have a fantastic community. It's a virtual country club. We have some really, really well-to-do people on there, some really smart people, really high-end people, board of trustees members, like major folks are on our site. So appreciate you guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm about to log on to BuckeyeScoop.com for the rest of the night. So if you want to jump in, subscribe. It is football season. It is go time. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. 20,000 subscribers. We started from the bottom, and now we're here. So thank you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night. Go Bucks.